Hey, 6th grade. This is Unit 6 of our vocabulary book. In this video, I will read the story that is in the front of the unit, as well as go over the vocab words and their definitions and sentences. And let's start with the story, The Surprising Life of Emily Dickinson. Once upon a time in the town of Amherst, Massachusetts, lived a young girl named Emily Dickinson. She was a lively, happy child who lived with her parents, sister, and brother in a big house near the village green. At school, Emily learned to read and write, and at home, she learned to cook and sew. Like many of her friends, she no doubt had a great capacity for fun as well, sledding in the cold New England winter and going on picnics in the green and flowering summertime. There was nothing unusual about young Emily. It seemed apparent that she would get married one day. Eventually, she would have her own house and raise her own children, perhaps in Amherst. In many ways, she would duplicate the life that her mother had lived. After all, that's what most girls did in the 1800s. When she was older, Emily went away to college for a while. She took a few trips, too, once traveling to Washington, D.C., where her father was a congressman. At home, she took part in town and church activities. When the Civil War began, she worked with other civilians to find ways to support the soldiers. Then suddenly, everything changed. For some reason, Emily decided to withdraw from everyday life. She stopped seeing almost everyone, never traveled, and rarely went outside. Eventually, she didn't leave her parents' house at all, and that's how she lived for the rest of her life. What provoked Emily Dickinson to take this course of action? Even today, no one can say for sure. While the undoing of her normal social life must have caused loneliness and pain, it also enabled the young woman to accomplish something great. In the years that followed, Emily Dickinson wrote 1,775 poems. Sometimes Emily might send a poem to a friend, but she didn't try to publish her poetry. If anything, she concealed it, tying her poems in bundles and hiding them in her dresser drawers. Fortunately, Emily's poetry didn't stay hidden from the world. After her death, the poems were finally published. When they appeared in print, readers couldn't believe how rich and vast her output had been. Although she never left the shelter of her house, Emily Dickinson had a keen imagination. In a drop of water, she could see a flood. In a grain of sand, she saw a desert. To write so many poems, Emily Dickinson must have experienced many spurts of inspiration. Yet she crafted each poem carefully, choosing the exact words, rhythms, and punctuation to express her meaning. Some of the poems do reflect her loneliness, but they are inspiring too. Somehow, Dickinson could use a simple image: the wind in the trees, a robin on the garden path, a train in the valley, to suggest life's endless possibilities. Simply put, Emily Dickinson was one of America's finest poets. From the stillness of her quiet room in Amherst, her delicate yet powerful words echoed across the land. Okay, now for the words. Number 1, accomplish. It's a verb that means to do, to make happen, succeed in, and carry through. Let's work together to accomplish the task. Number 2 is apparent, which is an adjective. It means open to view, or easy to understand, or seeming to be true or real. Speeding was the apparent cause of the accident. Number 3, capacity. It's a noun. It means the amount of space that can be filled. It can also mean ability or skill, or office or role. The stadium was filled to capacity for the championship game. Number 4 is civilian. The noun form of civilian means a person not in a military, police, or firefighting force. A team of civilians investigated the accident. The adjective form means much the same thing. It's just an adjective that means non-military. No civilian casualties were reported. Number 5 is conceal. It's a verb that means to hide or keep secret, to place out of sight. I tried to conceal my disappointment with a smile. Number 6, duplicate, can be a verb, adjective, or a noun. The verb form means to copy exactly, or to produce something equal to. A locksmith can duplicate almost any key. The adjective form is pronounced differently. It's pronounced duplicate. It means exactly like something else. My friend and I came up with duplicate plans. The noun form is also pronounced like that, an exact copy. He hung up a framed duplicate of a famous painting in his office. Number 7 is keen. It's an adjective. It means having a sharpened edge, or quick and sharp in thought or in sight, hearing, or smell. It can also mean eager. Birds of prey have keen eyesight. Number 8 is provoke. It's a verb that means to annoy or make angry, stir up. It can also mean to do something in order to get a response. Name-calling is bound to provoke an argument. Number 9, spurt. The verb form of spurt is to shoot out quickly in a stream, or to show a burst of energy. We watched the runners spurt for the finish line. As a noun, it means a sudden short stream of fluid or a quick burst of activity. My shirt was stained by a spurt of ketchup. Number 10, undoing. It's a noun that means a bringing to ruin or destruction, the cause of ruin, or unfastening or loosening. Idle gossip was the cause of their undoing. Number 11 is vast. It's an adjective that means very great or very large. A vast ocean stretched into the distance. And finally, number 12 is withdraw. It's a verb that means to pull out or remove, or it can mean to move back or away, retreat. Is it too late to withdraw from the race?